See, when you barbered years ago, you had less customers because they cut more regular, and you got to know more personally. You get strangers once in a while, but it was a small town. I was the only one in Bayport. The beauty shop cut hair by appointment some.
Right.
But there wasn't any at Lakeland or Afton. Now there's one in Lakeland and one in Afton. I don't know how many in Stillwater now. These girls, these cost cutters, they kind of hurt the business because they stay open Sundays and any length of time. We had to close at certain times, 8 o'clock to I found an old slip the other day. They raised the haircuts to 50 cents. Bunch of us barbers. We had to open at 8 to 5. I guess 8 on Saturdays.
Well, let's go back to this story that you were telling me about, where what's his name? Gino was coming to the barber shop to get a haircut.
Ready?
Yeah.
Gino, they sent him over there, and they were all sticking their head out of that door, and I thought there was something, and he wanted a haircut. He said he had $5. Where you get that? From them guys. Well, then he said, I cut his hair, and then he said, give me $2 to you. Will you shave me? I said, sure. Well, I cut him and shaved him, got it. He looked pretty good. I just took the towels and threw them right away, and I locked up. I was ready to quit. The joke kind of turned on those guys. They didn't think I was going to do all that. See, I was getting probably 75 cents for the shave and $1 something for the haircut. I made a little dough extra. Wasn't that bad. I cut, when at barber school, they were somewhere on Skid Row too. It was pretty dirty. Gino, where the heck are we now?
We're to Knothead here.
Where the heck am I?
Lyle Crippen.
Oh, Crippen.
Right at the bottom of the seas there.
Oh, yeah. He had blonde, curly hair. Kind of, I don't know, they give him a knothead, but he had the oil station right across from the barber shop up here. And one day I walked out of the station. I got a hold of the toilet paper, and I got just about to the bowling alley, and it broke. Geez, I'll get even with you. Next day I drove in. I had a Model A convertible, or Roadsters then. Geez, he threw a whole pail of water over me. I had to go back to change. Then one time, he said he had a new girl. He wanted a haircut and a shave and shampoo, and I left his mustache. It was a pukey little mustache, blonde. He gets over there, he picks up the girl in Oak Park, gets over to his sister's in Minneapolis, and she said, what the heck are you trying to do? Grow a mustache? Mustache? I didn't know mustache. And he looked and he said, that barber, I'm going to get him. Then I went somewheres. He saw me go somewheres, and he took my barber chair, dragged it out. They dragged it out and put it in the sidewalk, and I couldn't get the barber chair in it. I had to get help to get the barber chair off the sidewalk in the barber shop. Then, I don't know what I did one time. He filled my roadster full of snow. I went to the bowling alley, and I opened it with the side curtains, the snow just rolled down. We was always kind of praying. We went to the World's Fair together.
Which one?
1933. Lyle
in
Knothead.
Was that Chicago?
Yeah, Sally Rand. And I drove there for $12 for gas and oil, because the transmission was leaking. They had to put a pint in every now and then. And I broke a starter spring. They put the starter spring in and everything. Said to Dan Holt, I was telling Dan Holt, I got the garage there. He said, somebody spoke up and said, Dan Holt would charge you $1.50 for the cotter pin, and you'd have to put it in yourself. For I don't know how much. I got it somewhere. How much gas?
Yeah.
The gas was maybe about
$12 and some cents spent.
yeah spent for the gas and oil and on that starter spring. Not head and eye. Stayed about 3 days. Saw Sally Rand with her fans. Umpty, doll, emo doll, yeah, Umpty. He walks with a, with a hump. All the dolls do that quite a bit.
Is that right? Kind of a
Yeah.
up and down
He,
motion.
he was in the service, in the Navy, and a guy said, "I'm not going to have you for drilling today for an inspection. I'd have to put 50-pound bag of cement on your back to keep you from bouncing." They all got that little bounce. Humpty. He always had that bounce.
That's Amel doll, huh?
Yeah, that's emo.
Emil.
And Putty Nose, he got a big nose. He just died the other day.
Is that right?
Putty Nose.
Vern doll.
Vern doll.
How old was he when he died? Would you guess?
I think he's about 79. I think he's about a year younger than I was. And then Albert Dahl is another brother, Ubby. I don't know where he got the Ubby. He's dead. Tibbin, Robert Dahl. He died at 47. I see. He was in our drill team. He ate just toast. He never ate meat, vegetables, or fruit. He was just drank a lot. Aka, Oscar, I don't know, that's part of Oscar or something, Aka. And Axel, that's Ux.
Are all these dolls about your age? Were they? Are they of your generation? Or?
Putty Nose was the youngest. And Tibbin was 47 when he died, about 15 years ago, probably. But the other ones, like Aka and Ubby, they're World War I guys. They'd be in the 90s.
Right.
They lived. Ed DeLean, I don't know about.
Ashes. Now, where would that
Ashes.
have come from?
I don't know. Irving DeLean, Turkey, long neck.
Is that right?
He didn't like to be called Turkey, though. Same way with William DeLean, Wheeli. He didn't like Wheeli. I don't know what that was. He didn't like that. He'd tell you sometimes. That's the best part of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Vincent was Simp. There's another brother there. I don't know what that was really. Then Gus DeLean Dice, they're cousins. Dice, I don't know if he liked dice, play with dice, or shoot dice, or Dick DeLean Queer. He was just a little queer too. Lloyd Daniels, Bud. I don't know why they ever call him Bud, it's just a different name. Gordy Daniels, Spanky. There was a comic strip with Spanky in or something. Reminded them of it. John Donahue, Stykes. I just cut his hair a couple years ago and he died a few days later. He retired. Died. There were only about 3 or 6 months he retired.
You know where Stykes came from?
No, I don't. She had 3 brothers. There were 3 boys. They were all characters. Mother raised them ever since they were just kids. The dad died young. There's the other one. He's a coach out west, Billy. He's got all full of cancer now. Stike, then there's Paula DeLean. I don't know where Roy got that name. Paula or something. Oswald Ahorn Mutt. I really don't know where you got that name either. Paul Inkster Mortimer Snurge. You got it from that. Looked like Mortimer Snurge. Big nose and that. Lloyd Ebony Tint. He had a red face, kind of a tint.
Yeah, they couldn't name him Red because there were other
Yeah.
Reds, weren't there?
Archie Forster, Jake. I don't know where he got that name, Jake. And his brother High Eye, Lawrence. Somewhere the High Eye, he didn't like that too good neither. And Oscar Fussboom, Ucky. I really don't know that neither. And his nephew, Dwayne Fussboom. That's probably from Dwayne, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That Robert Falstead, that maybe some of them younger guy, Mummy. I suppose some of them people say stuff like this here, La Scrabble girls. You never could say spaghetti, sketty. They call her Sketty Scrabble. Sometimes a person can't say something. They just somebody will say.
They'll nail
Yeah.
a nickname on him. Mommy Chic
Mama
or
Chic.
Chic.
Yeah, something like that. He was kind of a kid, more of a sissy. Wasn't kind of a roustabout or nothing like some of the kids. His dad run the White Pine Inn. His dad did when he first started. The White Pine Inn Anderson's had. His dad run it. Hook Ferguson, he could throw an off a hook ball, left-hander. Cactus Pete, Bill Fredrickson, he looked like some of these here.
Frank Frederickson.
Yeah, Frank. Where am I? Cactus Pete, yeah, Frank
Yeah.
Fredrickson. He looked like Cactus Pete, or some of them guys in the movies, cowboys, all wrinkled and the old hat. And Bill Fredrickson, he ran the grocery store Friday. I don't know where he got that. Friday was his nickname. Vern Fredrickson for Goosen. I don't know if that's some Norwegian name or I think it was Benny Fredrickson, Pork Chop. I really don't know. And Sloppy, Raj Furset, Pete Furset's nephew. I don't know if he was sloppier when he was younger or what he was. I know some of them kids, like Sweet O'Moy's, never tied his shoelaces, never buttoned his sleeve cuffs, or Cox, that's Pete's brother, Anton. Cox, maybe Cox is from Anton. And Jerry Furset was Shingle Bill Louie. That's what Pete didn't like. He'd call him.
Why'd they call him Shingle Mill?
I really don't know. He's the boy that down in south. Pete's oldest boy with his first wife.
Uh-huh.
And then there's Pete Furset, Ole Oregon.
Now, why'd they call him that?
He didn't like that neither. When he was drinking, he didn't like Ole Oregon. I don't know, it's like Speck Fennickson. They call him Humrick. He never liked that. The prisoners nicknamed him that. He was a guard. We'll get to him. Ula, that's Pete's first tool. I don't know. Ula, that's some Norwegian, I think. Richard.
That's
Furset.
Richard. Richard is Pete's brother?
No, nephew.
Nephew.
Cox was Pete's brother, Anton. William Fussbloom, flower pot. I really, somebody hit him with a flower pot one time or nothing. Then we got Bill Gaudian, Tickle Toe. He, see, we had this train used to go from Bayport to Hudson, or from Stillwater to Hudson, and they used to sneak a ride on it. So you catch a ride on it, and he caught and he slipped and cut some of his toes off on his one foot. They call him Tickle Toe after that. I don't know if it probably cost a nickel to ride, but you know, nickel was worth. He's an older guy. They used to, after the train got going, started a little, they'd catch on and hide and go to Hudson and catch it coming back. Tickle Toe. His brother Carl, Dutch, he was like a real old Dutchman. He liked his beer and that. His wife used to give him a quarter to go downtown nights to drink beer. So he'd drink 2 dime beers, and then he'd drink a nickel beer. Then Pawnee would set up a nickel beer only. See, he'd get in chips, so he was telling me, you drink the nickel beer first, then the 2 dime beers, and then you get a free dime beer, you get a little more. Just his brother, the Dutch, he had a birthmark. I don't know what, on one side of his face. I don't know how he...
August?
August.
How do you pronounce her last name?
Gaudian.
Gaudian.
Then Andy Guilford, Andy Gump. He was like the Andy Gump in the funny papers. Clyde Cadata, Sparky. I don't know, he didn't get that from being Sparky. Like Happy McPherson. Grouchy, and they call him Happy. Ted Gillen, the Deacon. I don't know how he got that, something, but I go to church. Yeah, we had a liars contest. He won the liars contest the one year. That's the year they wouldn't let George Bell run because he was a professional. And I brought it up to him. Geez, he didn't like that very good. I took a picture of the people in Bayport. I took the biggest liar in Bayport, the Deacon. Shorty, Clark Groves, Shorty Groves, he was kind of short. Elwood Gibson, Hoot. I don't really know how he... Hoot. Wasn't there a Hoot cowboy or something?
I don't remember.
There was a cowboy one time. Hoot Gibson? Or...
Hoot Gibson?
Yeah, I guess that's how he... And Bob Gray, Stub Gray. I don't know. And Ed Gray was Sam Gray. They were old timers. They got a parking house up where the printing house parking lot is now. An old house, so weather beaten, and we moved here 65 years ago, and there was no paint on it then. And nobody, you can't get anybody who really knows if that house is ever painted.
Huh.
Nobody ever went in there. Never had any...
Is that right?
People came in there. They're both single guys, and they lived with their sister there. They had a picket fence. You could get her mad. You'd take a stick and rub it along that picket fence. Then there's Charlie Gray, Funix. He's part Indian, I suppose so. And he went in the service. Oh God, he must have been in the Marines in the 30s sometime. Nice, come back, the nicest, straightest walking, neatest looking guy. He got just as sloppy as back like an Indian well, before. The last we ever knew, he got married Purdy Mac. He went up to Duluth and lived in the houseboat. That's the last we ever found him. He died up there.
Was he related to Bob and Ed?
Bob and Gray, Ed was his uncle. I mean, his uncles. Archie Gilbert, George Gilbert, Archie. I really don't. And there's
Kirshans?
Bobby Graments. I really don't know that neither. Lyman Gary, Red Dog. Yeah, I don't know just how he got it. Just like this Bob Bell, we're getting back to, no, Babe Bell. When I get big, I ain't gonna get married. I have any kids. He had 10 kids. He gets that brought up from Peanuts. Peanuts, I thought you ain't gonna have any kids.
Okay, so where were we? Walter Gillette.
Walter Gillette.
Stag.
I'll get back to Stag. Walters, there was a Walter Babin, Walter Burmaster, Walter Serrier, Walter Surrey, Walter Gillette. And there's 5 Walters on this side of 5th Avenue North and 1 Walter Osmus way the other end of town. All the Walters. And Walter Schultz. There was a Walter Schultz here. That gets to 5. And then Doogie, he's living. He's about 94.
Right.
Walter's dead.
Was Walter Doogie's brother?
Yes. Yeah. Look, they got a little house that's tore down. A little house didn't have a front door. 17 people, 17 Gillettes were born there. There's maybe about 3, 4 of them living yet. Maybe 3.
Well, how did Doogie get his name is William, but they call him Doogie?
He could play ball too. It was maybe something about his ball playing.
He was a pitcher.
He was a pitcher. Walter Goosey, whack. He was a butcher. He was always whacking meat with that cleaver, you know. Years ago, I don't think they use much of cleaver now. No. Gee, there was 3 brothers. One was worked at Anderson's, a salesman, and Walter was a butcher, and one was a barber. And they all died before their mother did. Paulie Vanner Gardner, he was a plumber in town here. Lived up. He was born and raised in that house. Boy, he had stuff when he had the auction. I don't know just how he got his name, Paulie.
Maybe another case where they wanted a girl.
Yeah. Gene Hafman, Snooky. Geez, I already don't know. Elvin was Elvis. He was a character. He'd tend bar at Pawnee's. And he'd come out with an old mop over his head, you know. Or he could comb his hair down. He had black hair then, but gray last. And he'd comb it like Hitler, and he'd put a black comb under his nose, and Hitler. Or he'd take his false teeth out and put his lower lip over his nose.
Oh my God.
He came here. He was drunk for 10 years, I think, till they finally got him to go to Anderson's to work. He sobered up. And he drove, in 6 years, I know, he drove back and forth to Milwaukee without a driver's license and a case of beer in the front seat. Him and his brother both died here just about a year ago.
That's Alvin Hafman?
Al Hafman. Or, you know, he'd do the darndest things. A guy came in and he wanted some kind of a drink, and he just put an ice cube in it and give it to him and his girlfriend or wife. And the guy says, "Gee, that's supposed to be cracked ice." He takes it out there with his hand, steps on it, puts it back, gives it, "Here it is." But then you give him another drink, you know. He done it, you know, some would get kind of mad. I could tell this maybe. This ain't too bad. Somebody went in the man's can and missed the stool. Oh, he says, "Oh, they've got these practical ones with the look fake. He said, I'll show you. He went down there and went to pick it up. He said, it is real. No, he was always, he was drunk all the time. He was 10 bar. And they had to get rid of him because he just, we'll see where we went.
But he sobered up and went to work.
Yeah, but he drank quite a bit after that, but he last he behaved himself pretty good. But he was just all, where are we now? Sloppy, shingle mill, tickle toe, what was done? Deacon. Oh, Paulie, way down here.
We're under H. Stu Holmstrom.
Holmstrom.
Right.
I think that's just from Stu from Holmstrom.
Yeah.
Joe Hayner, Joe Pud. He was a Joe Pud too.
What do you mean?
He knew everything. I think, I don't know how he got it, but he was a different guy. And Donald Hayner, his son, Pops. I don't know where Pops came from. And with Skippy, Robert Hayner. Wilbert Hagen, Lar. He was kind of a character too. Brick, his brother, Clifford Hagen, he got kind of reddish hair. Brick, kind of reddish. Then there's Eric Hansen's Tin Snips. That's the what you call it, for the
Sheet metal?
sheet metal.
Sheet metal guy?
Yeah, he did all the sheet metal work for Anderson's Tin Snips. Duck Harrison, kind of walked like the dice a little, duck a little. Thin Slice, he had a restaurant, Valley Inn. Then he went to Anderson's. His gravy was thicker than the meat, they always said, or the meat was so thin he only had to cook one side of it. He'd take that, they call him Thin Slice yet, but he takes it with a grain of salt. Sometimes he...
That's Avery Hokinson.
Avery Hokinson.
Now he ran a restaurant, you said?
Yeah,
Which one?
Out of town. They call it the Valley Inn. When you go out of town this way, you go to Clyde's, or you take this other road, right? There's apartments there. He run that for quite a few years. Then he sold it. Then he went to the service, but at the same time as I did, a little later. And then he went down to Anderson's. It was same as where Mark Recke runs the restaurant there. So he had that for quite a few years. Now his eyesight is a little bad, and he's janitor up at the Legion downstairs every day. So he didn't have no pension. It's like me, work for yourself much. See, Anderson's, he was on his own when he worked at Anderson's even.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, see, he was separate, but he only could charge so much, and they had him. And he was on his own, Thin Slice. Clarence Halverson, Click, years ago, he was dancing, or the Click or something. He got that name. Humrick is Ed Henriksen. He worked at the prison. The prisoners give him that name, Humrick. I don't know why, but he never liked that if you call him Humrick. He'd grab you by the throat and shake you a little, but
Is that right?
Kind of pleasant. But he never liked Humrick. And his kid, Ed they call Speck too. And they call his kid Speck too. John Hugberg Slim, he was a slim guy. Huggist, that was William Hendricks, William, brother. He, I don't know where the Huggist came in, the Hugberg or something. Donald Herring, Fish. His Herring, his last name, so that's a fish. Warren Huss was Banty. He was kind of a old Banty guy. Sourdough, Phil Huss, he was the baker. He didn't care about that sourdough too much either.
No.
Any cooker, bean burner, or anything is, their nickname quick. Ralph Huss, their brother, Schaffus, I don't know, that's some Norwegian name they got somewhere. Bill Hunky, William Hunky, Leadball. He ain't got too much spark to do anything. He was a good carpenter and everything, but Leadball, I suppose, he got that when he was younger. Hard to get off your hind end. And Richard Hagan, Popeye, I don't know where the heck he got that. He was the same age as one of my boys. Ivor Jackson, Fireball. One time the guy fell out of a boat. He had the boat docks down here, a little place, a beer joint and that. And the guy fell out of the boat. They said, Ivor, go and get your boat, get going and get that guy. Well, he had to put his cap on. He had to get his jacket on. He couldn't get the zipper up on his jacket fast. They said, get going, forget about that. But he, never got excited. He just called him Fireball. There's Earl Johnson. Have I got that one marked yours, Earl?
Yes.
Yeah. It was, they had, what was it, Carl Korn. He's got a funny ear and funny little toe and a funny thumb. He's born that way. This looks like a kernel of corn. And his thumb is like a little finger and his big toe is like a little finger. They call him Corn. You're so used to him. There was a Carlson next to him, which was had a funny ear too that way. He was born this way. Pussy, or Melvin Johnson, he was kind of Hewling's, friend of Hewling's. Pussy, I don't know, he's a nicer guy, Pussy. Cully, his brother, Carl. Irv Johnson, Prince Olaf. That was some Norwegian Prince Olaf, straight, nice built guy, nice accurate bowler. Never gets hot like my brother. Like my brother bowled had a 600 average. He never got a 600 game. He had a 186 average and never got a 600 that 1 year. He was consistent. Then Ed Johnson, he didn't get married way late in life. Both were older. And they kidnapped her, kept her overnight. And he says, no, I ain't worried. Her come back. Her come back. He talks broken Swede. Her come back. He kept that name till he died, Her. Elmer Johnson, he's a redhead. Leroy Johnson, his brother Hans, was Leroy. His dad, Herman Johnson, Titten. That's something about Norwegian too or something. Joe Judkins, Jersey Joe, he always had a jersey sweater or turtleneck. He's still living. Roy Judkins, his brother Juddy, or Leroy Judkins. Russ Caulk Frog Legs, he's got the damnedest walk. Somebody call him Frog Legs. Herman Kasky Ham. Antwood Kanky is Tony. Danny Kilkelly, Bulldog, he kind of acted like a bulldog.
Was he a bully?
No, he wasn't too bad that way.
No.
Howard Kilkelly, Mahoney, he's the one that got stranded in Hastings and hired a taxi to take him up. And he said, I stay in the White Pine Inn. went in the front door of the White Pine Inn, right out the back, and that's the way he was up. His brother, Wilfred, Spider, Wilfred Kelly, he was kind of a mean guy fighting. Carl Kleinsmith, KKK, they figured middle name was a K, I think, too, they call him. God, he got burnt this winter bad. He caught a fire. Well, his wife heard him holler help at night, and here he, when she ran into the kitchen, he was on fire. He was stripped to the waist, his pajama tops in the sink, and they were catching the curtains afire. And the skin was burning and it was just dropping off his arm.
Whoa.
She got a wet towel and threw over him, and then she went out to put out that fire in the sink that the kitchen fire wouldn't catch. And then he caught a fire again, and then she had to put that out. They had to put him out 3 times. And he passed out. He never knew nothing for 3 months. A good friend of mine. And they don't know how that fire started or what. It was he smoked, but no cigarettes around. He couldn't find. But there was a cigarette lighter in the ashtray. And he was 3 months. Good thing he was out for 3 months, because he was deep scars, like right down to the bone. The skin burnt. And his hand, he didn't get his face. He got this side. And they grafted, I don't know how much skin they grafted. KKK, he didn't get married till kind of late in life, too. He had a little trouble getting used to married life. Doc Kerner. Somebody thought he was a doctor one time, and they called him Doc, and he went by Doc. And we'd go out bowling. He bowled with me a lot. Bowled my bowling team. Doc, could you, some woman, something wrong? I said, ask Doc. Doc, is he a doctor? Sure. So he started asking him. Jerry Kuska, Kook, the Pollock. They call him the Pollock. I don't know where they get Kook. And Louis Krieger, Toots. I don't know really where he got Toots. Maybe George Keane, they call him Joe. I don't know who. Somebody maybe say you're a good Joe or something. I don't know. It was Joe.
And no one ever called him George?
Edward LeClaire, Nig. He was black, dark. I guess a little Indian in him. Fred LeClaire, Smoke. He was dark. He drank a lot too. Alan LeClaire, Boobin. That's Smoke. Is a nigger brothers, and then Smoke. This Boobin is a son of Smoke. I don't know where he got that. Then Ainge, that's a son of him. He was an angel. He wasn't, I was. Waller LeClaire was Ping. That's another boy. I don't know where he got that. George LeClaire, Funk. There was some funny paper with the Funk in there. And Jim was Dolly, or Edward, his right name. His right name was really James. Middle name maybe was. They went by James a lot. I see it's Edward. And Dolly, they call him Dolly.
You don't know why?
Well, he was the youngest and kind of a Dolly, I guess. Frank Lemke Sr. was Lum. Wasn't there Lum and Abner or something? Something one time. And Chubby. That's Frank Lemke Sr. He was a chubby little guy. Chubby.
Frank Sr.'s son?
Yes. He committed suicide.
Oh.
Leviticus, Russ Lennoxon. Wasn't there a guy in the funny papers, Leviticus? His dad had the oil station, or he had the oil station here. Russ. And Earl Lennoxon is Mary. He went by Mary till he died. His mother wanted a girl so bad and dressed him. And He was merry. A lot of it.
And he didn't object to that?
No. He never said anything. He never got too mad about it because everybody called him Mary ever since he was a kid. Seemed like his name was Mary. It's like Ella Berger.
Right.
Ella was always Ella. Like Cube Cummins. Doc Sherman gave me hell for calling the president of the bank Cube that day. I said,
There's penciled in on my page here somebody Lehrer named Joker.
Joker Lair.
What was his first name?
Gerald. God, I forgot to put it in this one. Gerald Lair. Joker. They always call him Joker. I don't know. Just, he had that. He died a long time ago now. Joker. Gerald Lair. I forgot to finish that day.
Okay.